Hello, ladies and gentlelads. Welcome back to another stream. Today, as it said on the title, we will be watching some house. Now, once again, it's just gonna be me going through the essay, watching the episode, talking about it, seeing how things go. Um, but yeah. Holy shit. Anyways, today we are gonna be watching the episode of Three Stories, which is critically acclaimed as basically one of the, if not the most accurate medically TV shows or episodes of the show. Um, so yeah, we shall see. Shall see. Power to you. Wrong company. Close enough. Anyways, um, so yeah, I think I'm going to test today what happens if like I actually showcase some of the clips. Um, Ideally, I do not get banned. If I do, fuck it, we'll make a new, uh, or we'll just remove the video. But yeah, so we shall start off with that. Um, Once again, I think, um, what I'm gonna mostly just focus on is trying to answer the establishing or the background questions, and then from there we can basically work on answering the main possible or the main questions, which are like the possible answers. Um, So yeah, you'll notice that most of these are going to be the colors that are highlighted and very little these. Mainly because like this is relevant to this um and such. But yeah, we shall get started. Okay. Uh, why is this not loading? There we go. Cuddy's got his ass. She's on him. Hmm. Interesting. The X shows up. Stacy. Maybe this is Stacy's daughter? Or is this the Stacy? Yo, I got a second viewer already. What mean color code? Oh, yeah, thank you for the color coding. I appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you. Welcome, second viewer. We are watching some house so that we can write the essay on it. Um, we just saw Stacy arrive into the scene. We're watching this Three Stories episode because it's very strong diagnostically, or it gives us a lot of info regarding who House is, how did House become the way he is, and it also I think it'll give us a lot more insight into who House is as a person. So yeah, that is interesting. That is really interesting. So I'll show the clip in a moment. Um, okay. So what we're gonna see here, what I'm gonna show in a moment, is I think I can go here. So House and Stacy are talking about Stacy's new husband, who is really sick, and House she's trying to get convince House to take the case. And you can see House is actually kind of struggling with himself here. Like you can see behind his eyes, he's really struggling with himself here and trying to decide whether or not to help. Maybe or whether not to tell this because what he's saying now is, it's not that I think it's something he said. It's like it's not that I don't think he's sick. It's that he doesn't. He's not sure he wants him to live. There it is, and you can see like right. I'm not too busy. So he's saying, it's not that he's too busy or whatever to take a look. It's genuinely that he just doesn't want to live. And you can, like, it's very little that you can actually see emotion behind his eyes that isn't either just, like, loneliness or anger. Like, look at that. He's actually looking at the person. There's actual things happening there. So that's an interesting part of it. I realize now that I did not unmute the let's do this. This. Okay. I'll play that later when I'm showing another clip. Alrighty, let's continue. So the reason this is so important is literally him saying directly he's not sure he wants him to live. So we have House here saying, because my theory is that House does care about things or about life, but not about the people living the life, right? It's just specifically whether they have the property of life or not. And this makes a change toward that because it's counteracting that. So I think it can be very important for later. I'm just gonna skip through the intro. Okay, and now we're in the guest lecture or the lecture hall. That's interesting. So also just another part of like saying how they're going into further proof of House's cynicism is him saying, but that is what they said had happened. So we have House just telling us, okay, this is the thing that happened, and yeah, Okay. So we have House talking about here is what happens when doctors care too much. And he is showcasing Cameron who's doing it. I'm not going to show a clip of this because it's short and pointless, but you know it's there. It just doesn't achieve enough for me to show it. Alright. There's a very interesting clip that just happened as well. So we have House saying, let's say I'm gonna put this at 10 minutes. That should give me. We had a patient with tendonitis go through a very painful and expensive test. So let me show this. There we go.
But to put a person with tendonitis through an expensive and painful test.
Yeah, they're expensive and painful test. So the only reason I think he would, the reason I'm clapping or clocking this or writing this down is because, him saying, "Oh, expensive and painful test." So if because he is trying to explain, okay, why caring too much or trying to know too much about the patient, trying to teach it or trying to handle them like their family can be problematic. So, and he is noting these as one of the reasons. And I don't think he would note this reason unless it was to actually give some information. So, the interesting contradiction that's now created here is because we have here he is saying he doesn't want the guy to live, right? Not caring what the pain he is in, nothing. Yet here he's trying to say that he wants to avoid going through very painful and expensive tests. Now I don't think the expensive bothers him as much, if it is actually useful toward something. Same with maybe painful, right? But if it's unnecessary pain or unnecessary expenses, then I think it maybe bothers him a bit more. So I think he's very big on doing things that are necessary. Although he's also known to be a guy who just pisses people off for the fun of it. A lot of contradictions, I think. It's peculiar.
Here's how a well-adjusted doctor.
Okay. This is, I don't think, critical to anything, but uh, sorry, I just had to reply to something. Um, I don't think it's really important to anything. So actually, no, I'm not gonna show it because I don't want to show unnecessary parts, lest I get in trouble from the YouTube gods. They shall smite me down and curse me. So we can't have that now, can we? We have Wilson in the house now. They've taken 5. That's a really interesting thing, though. Um, I want to actually show this. It's not really important too much, but it gives a very interesting idea of the fact that House is actually kind of a good at what he does with teaching, because here his students literally, or the people in his lecture hall, literally say, "Oh yeah, it's been almost 6 minutes," and he's like, "No, we took five," and they're like, "It's almost 6 minutes. Like, get your ass back in here. We want to know more." So House being he's direct, right? He's telling, like, immediately told this bastard right here, like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna like you very much, am I? Like, that's not something you really do unless, once again, very misanthropic or, blunt, which we already know about House. It's been decided thus far. That's why I'm not taking a note of every instance of it, because there's a lot of instances. I don't need that many instances of it. Um, Maybe I just should just take one from each episode just to show that it stays consistent throughout the show. Um, but yeah. Um, they go and they're like, it's been almost 6 minutes, and I don't think it's out of punctuality that they're doing it. I think it's more like, oh, please come teach us further. We can't wait to hear about this. So yeah, I think that's an interesting thing to just note. I think I should One thing I should do is I want to note the time of, because I think we have House contemplating helping her. Because he's like trying to find an excuse to. I think that's how they spell Stacy. They're weird like that. Alright, I have noted that. Actually, yeah, let's play this. So we'll see House. Um, Contemplating it.
She loves you. She just can't stand to be around you.
Uh, Dr. House?
Because she hates me.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure, that makes sense. She's just using the old sick husband routine as an excuse to get back in
This
touch
entire
with
clip shows
you.
House
Think this is easy
and
for her?
Wilson
The only reason she'd be anywhere
contemplating
near you
and
is if she was
wondering, like,
desperate.
okay, should House
She
do it,
doesn't hate
not
you.
do it?
She loves.
And Wilson also says here, like, the only reason she's close to him or even near him is because she's desperate. House is trying to. It seems here like he's trying to fight himself, um, like because fight his hatred for the guy or her new husband, um, most likely out of jealousy, and also his attachment toward helping, right, toward curing, and I think this is gonna be this is really pivotal because it's gonna give us, when we later analyze everything, a bigger indication. Since the theory is, okay, he does like he cares about life itself specifically, not necessarily about the people experiencing the pain as much or experiencing the sickness, but preserving life. I think it's gonna be interesting because he is now fighting his inner urge to preserve life with the anger and jealousy he feels towards Stacy. So yeah, I think that is an important part to note. Uh, so just give me a moment. But so I think this is actually a really important part to showcasing that House actually cares. Um, but not cares in like the right direction. He doesn't care about his patients. He cares about curing, I think, like curing the disease as well as um like curing the disease as well as preserving the life, right? So and this kind of shows it because of especially also what Wilson says.
You. She just can't stand to be.
There we go. Cameron smiling way too much at the patient. Too much mother. Damn. That shit's eating away at his leg. Okay. Okay. Nothing of great interest just yet. Um, and I don't just, or I just don't wanna. I don't wanna just search for something that isn't necessarily directly there. We can see how. Okay, this is interesting. So I want to note this because I'm gonna say at 2600 house gets up in the faces of the students with the drug addict patient and starts to show anger. Now what we're gonna find out, I'm pretty sure, is that the drug addict one is house. So yeah. Yeah. Nothing really that notable happens in this episode today, which is unfortunate. It does tell us um, that House lost his leg to an infarction. I'm gonna put that in. Um, that is, I think, a very important thing to show. Um, 36, 36, 58. I find it more comforting to believe that this isn't simply a test. Alright, let me show this real quick. Nearing the end of the episode.
I find it more comforting to believe that this isn't simply a test.
There we go. So we, if it, if we think about this a bit further, to him, if he believes that there isn't just a test, right? Um, okay. Let's continue our watch.
How bad is the pain right now?
I understand. Okay. So that she can make medical decisions for him because she is his medical proxy. Okay, so what's gonna happen here is House is gonna get put into a chemically induced coma so that he can sleep through most of the pain. And then afterwards we are gonna have House. They're gonna probably try and say, okay, yeah, let's cut off his leg. Um, I realize my camera is so far behind for some fuck ass reason. Well, too bad. So sad. Um, so yeah, we're gonna figure out what happens there. Now let's finish the rest of this episode. He's gonna get put into the coma, and then probably they're gonna try and cut off his leg, but they're gonna fail. House is gonna go, fuck you, I was right. And then we experience what happened to his actual leg. We see House actually look quite happy. He's still stubborn, right? So this is basically telling us, okay, House was happy at least, that, or a lot more chipper at one point, and that of course, and that the house or the leg kind of fucked it all up. Yeah, she goes behind his back to do like the middle ground thing, where apparently they go in and like take the dead muscle or something. And I think it ends up going wrong. And Kari is a part of this, saying, Okay, last bit before the episode ends, and I get to eat. And so we see here that House says he's not sure he wants him to live, right? And yet here at the end he finally goes like he goes. I think it's because of his own story of like maybe almost dying and how close he was to death that scared the ever living shit out of him, and that is what caused him to want to work with the patient again and or with her husband and then sort it all out. Alrighty. Tomorrow I don't know what I'm gonna stream. Maybe I'll do some gaming or something. But yeah, that is going to be the end of today's stream. I hope you all enjoyed it. Um, it was a but more interesting episode, though it doesn't have as much for actual useful purposes, I think. Um, but yeah, we're going to start going into more episodes now regarding patients' lives. And I don't know if I'm gonna continue streaming this. It's interesting to stream, but what about plastic? Yeah. Um, I'm gonna go into more. Might game or something. I don't know how I feel about continuing the episodes like this. But yeah, we shall see. Maybe I document it in a different way. Anyways, adios, muchachos. I shall see y'all tomorrow.